Hello and welcome to this NativeEdge demo powered by the Dell Automation Platform. In this demo, we'll cover HA clustering and all the features that are involved in that feature. We'll then import VMs from a VMware environment over to the HA cluster we create. And then we'll wrap things up by demoing our snapshot capability for our VMs. Let's start off in the orchestrator infrastructure page. We'll start by clustering 3 of these devices. To create a cluster, we'll give it a name. Let's select a leader node, 2 follower nodes, and select our networking. Here, we can specify different networks for our cluster and storage interfaces. In this example, my management network is 1 physical port on each device, and my storage network is on another port on each device. On the next page, I'll select the first 2 data stores to participate in the shared storage pool. I'll review the summary, and within minutes, I have a 3-node cluster. If I click into the cluster, I can see different information such as any virtual machines running on the cluster. I can also see any virtual networks for my virtual machines to use, and I can also see the shared data store. Let's now see how simple it is to expand this cluster to 4 nodes. I'll go back to the endpoints page and add my 4th node into the cluster, and within minutes, I now have a 4-node cluster. Now that our cluster is up, let's deploy a test VM to this cluster. I'll navigate to my Blueprint catalog page and deploy this VM to the shared storage pool. I'll assign a virtual network segment from my cluster and then give my VM a name. Within minutes, my VM is fully deployed. If I go back to the cluster, I can now see the VM is running on node 1. NativeEdge supports moving VMs from one node to another. There are many different types of moves. In this demo, I'm showing a live migration. However, these migrations can also be offline or failover migration as well. For example, let's say I lost node 2, the VM would restart on another node within the cluster. Let's now look at a few other cluster features. When I go over to options, I can see the option for update. If there was a new software package, I would see it here, and I can apply a non-disruptive rolling upgrade to my cluster. I can also create HA groups. HA groups allow us to assign priorities to nodes. For example, if I have an application I prefer to run on node 1, if node 1 were to fail, the VM would get moved somewhere else in the cluster. But after node 1 were to come back, I want the VM to be automatically moved back to node 1. So in this example, I'm creating an HA group called Mission Critical and assigning it to my test VM. Moments after applying this HA group to the VM, you'll see it move from node 2 to node 1. Finally, the cluster also supports auto load balancing VMs. Depending on the settings selected, the system will automatically balance VMs evenly across the cluster. Now that we have a cluster up and running, let's import some VMs from our VMware environment. I'll go over to the external infrastructure where I've already connected a vCenter. This is pulling all of the ESX servers as well as the VMs running in my lab. I'm going to search for a VM named Litmus and import it over to my NativeEdge cluster. When importing this VM, I'll need to select one of the endpoints in my HA cluster, the shared data store, and the virtual network segment. The UI will automatically create a deployment job and import the VM to the cluster. Once the deployment is complete, we'll navigate over to the cluster and wrap things up with our final demo. NativeEdge also supports protecting VMs locally. NativeEdge supports snapshotting VMs. In this example, I'm taking a snapshot of our VM, and I can see that if I click into this VM, I can revert this snapshot as well. This concludes this demo. We hope you found this useful. Check out other videos on Dell Automation Platform.